Welcome to Things You Don't Know. As we promised when we did the April Fool's Day podcast, we will now reveal the three jokes or pranks that we planted in that podcast. I gotta say that I'm quite surprised that no one guessed them.
I agree with you, Dr. Weaver. I thought people were going to get them. Well, we did get some comments that your statement that April 15th was the first robin of the spring was one of the April Fools. I think some people did not understand, I know I didn't understand, that the robin being referred to was not the joyous bird of the song, but the depredations of the tax man, because April 15th is the day that federal taxes come due.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You know, the statement is probably quite dated, as it was popular in the 1950s and 60s, and it was referring to an increase in taxes, which started first with Eisenhower, who he was not one that wanted to be increasing taxes. However, he did want to implement the very much needed interstate highway system and needed money to fund that project. So taxes increased, and it became known because it was sort of a surprise in that sense. So, yeah, I guess I'm showing my age. Oh, my goodness. Anyhow, so I think we owe the people that made that guess get some credit, and they will receive a personalized keychain.
I agree with you that that's certainly very fair. Just a quick side note, if anybody wants a good analysis of the interstate highway system, read Daniel Yergin's The Prize. It's an oil history book, but it devotes a whole chapter to that. I also think we were a little too clever in hiding our jokes, as they obviously sounded just a little too similar to some other items we mentioned.
Yeah, that has become abundantly clear to me, and I kind of I enjoy it. It's sort of funny in its own way. Okay, so the first fake or joke, bum, 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 was a statement that at about this same time in Italy, a tradition of dressing as a magistrate and making false arrests developed, as the fake magistrate and the fake police were supposed to be taking the victim to jail. They would tell them they were vecchio pazza de capra, or old goat fools. That's never been a thing that the Italians have said.
I would be relieved that I was not being taken to jail and try to go along with the joke. But you were quite correct, Dr. Weaver, to use Italian phrases to present this imaginary meaning. Just on a historical note, the satire of police, magistrates, and other officials has a very proud history throughout the world and has festivals devoted to it, from the Saturnalia in some parts to Mardi Gras and Brazilian Carnival. It serves as a way of both letting off steam and individual self-assertion.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this also says something about the nature of April Fool's Day pranks. When something is presented as a joke, people can often get away with presenting ideas without suffering legal or any other kind of consequences because, oh, hey, I was just joking. It was just a prank, right? Okay.
You're quite correct, going all the way back to the medieval tradition of court jesters who were allowed to satirize religious and political leaders without consequence. Just on a personal note, one of my favorites of these spoofs was the second statement. Another origin story dates to the mid 1600s, around the time Switzerland signed the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. There were some factions within individual Swiss cantons that immediately adopted the Gregorian calendar, while the cantons of Geneva, seeing it as a Catholic innovation, and some others did not officially make the switch until 1701, other places throughout the rest of the 18th century. Those that had adopted the Gregorian calendar took to putting signs saying Naram Troman, or Fool's Dream, outside of the homes of those who had not yet made the switch. The reason this was overlooked probably had to do with the reliance on actual historical data. The Treaty of Westphalia ended a very bloody conflict, the 30 Years' War throughout Europe. It established the idea that rulers could choose the official religion of their country and gave some toleration to those privately following other faiths.
No, it's interesting because when I thought that up, that prank, there were two things that struck me. Was first, we tend to look at Switzerland as a country that has been established like forever, like England or something, that long. But that is not the case at all. They actually, as a nation, are relatively new, just as the United States is, like not real new, but new. So, yeah, as you were saying, this fake relies on the fact that there was significant resistance to adopting the Gregorian calendar changes, as many non-Catholics felt this was an attempt by the Catholic Church to exert control. This religious angle is largely overlooked today, which is appropriate. The bottom line is that I think people just like to prank people and like the idea of making someone else look foolish. April Foolish. The last fake we put in was the statement in 1984. Fritos placed a half-page ad in the Washington Post on April 1st announcing they were adding a raspberry flavored Frito chip, premiering at A&P groceries across the United States. Now, I thought for sure this one was going to be discovered quickly. Not the case. One of the principles of lying or faking is to give lots of specificity in the lie, such as giving dates and saying it was reported in a respected source. So, politicians use this principle all the time, sometimes in the positive, i.e., saying something happened, or in the negative, i.e., claiming fake news. What can we say? People just like to do those things, and they seem to do them repeatedly.
You're quite correct, Dr. Weaver. It's one of our biggest flaws as a people. But I have to say, I am just a little disappointed. I must tell you, in my bizarre sense of taste, I would have enjoyed a raspberry flavored Frito. But wait a minute. All hope is not lost on a different front, friends. Coca Cola, and this is the truth, has put out a new soft drink called Coca Cola Spice, which is raspberry flavored. I haven't tried it yet, but I intend to. Only time will tell if it will stand along Lime Coke in my list of favorite drinks. Check out our soft drink podcast to learn about the amazing history of soda pop's impact on the world.
Yeah, one of our biggest exports as a nation. Well, listen, if you enjoyed our little pranks, please let us know, especially if you'd like us to do some more of them, which I really enjoyed doing it, by the way. I thought it was a hoot. Utility of doing it, as I see it, is to encourage people to check things out, whether they're hearing or reading information. Just because something is said doesn't mean it is right, particularly when you're looking for real information. Historical data can be twisted and taken out of context, and a lot of those kinds of things. So it does pay you. We want you to be educated listeners. So if you want us to do some more of them, let us know, and we will. And if we do, we will indeed uh, give corrections as they go.
And let me second Dr. Weaver's remarks. No one person or publication of any kind has a monopoly on the truth. So it's a very good exercise, particularly with things we feel intense about, to look at multiple points of view. Not always the easiest thing to do, but I think very important. But thank you, everybody. Please give us a like, comment, join the podcast if you haven't. There are many wonderful things coming up. It's a real pleasure for both of us to do this, and we look forward to it. Goodbye for now.
Dr. Deneen has some really hard hitting, important information coming in a podcast that will be coming out very soon. And we have a lot of good things planned for you. And we also have a few more of these more lighthearted things. Hey, we're coming up with one about bodily fluids. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Okay, so catch you later.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.